Hearing Loss Live talks what we learned behind the scenes. Good morning and welcome to Hearing Loss Live. We hope you've been enjoying our workshop series. If you are, remember to subscribe, like, share it with all your friends and family. We do have the workshop that we post for 1 week for free. You can watch for that package to come out in December, January timeframe when we will re-release the workshop with a workbook. Pretty good price going for them. So keep an eye on that at hearinglosslive.com. This month, we have been talking about behind the scenes for accommodations. We want you to be empowered to know how that works and how you can have the best outcome possible with however it is that you like your accommodations, and maybe some suggestions that I think I was telling Shelly earlier. We know we need limits, right? We know we need boundaries. we know all this stuff as hearing people, okay? And then I think we get worried about those changes with a hearing loss. Does that make sense? And so how do we help empower people with knowledge that it's okay to have limitations in any way, shape, or form, even with a hearing loss? It shouldn't be, I can't ask for that because I have a hearing loss. Is that kind of making sense? Which I think is why it's so important for you guys to know what goes on. And we've gone over a lot of CART and captioning. We've gone over technology. If you joined us Tuesday, Shelly can fill you in on things that happened there that she learned about. Not that you have to be the one that goes out and advocates for it all, but so what questions are being asked. What is that CART provider doing with the venue to have a better experience for you? I think it just helps to know. I don't know. That's kind of my thought process. Shelley, tell us some thoughts from the Let's Talk Tuesday. I was unable to make it and I super hate that, but um, I hear it was great. So fill us in.
It was good. We had several people who showed up, some valuable input because we all learn from each other. It's good to hear from other people. I don't know it all. I learn as much as I can, but I learn from others as well. So it's a trade back and forth. And that's why I value our workshops so much. One of our attendees said, you didn't talk about Bluetooth, like personal accommodations. And he said, it's like everybody was glued to their captions and they forget that they can get better sound too. Like his wife Bluetooth connects to her computer. And if you got our newsletter, you would see where I talked about, well, I didn't even know how to do that. So I got online and I looked it up, and it's really easy. And someday I'll try. Right now, I use my Roger On device to plug into the computer, and it just shoots to my ears. But what if that's missing? What if it's broke? What if it's I should have options. So I really appreciated him saying, "Don't forget the Bluetooth connection." It's not a public option yet. That's still pretty much a personal device option. But at some point, the Bluetooth will come out, and that'll be awesome. There's also Wi-Fi, but it's so hard to get into everything. 1.5 hours, and we usually end up going almost 2 hours because we have newbies with questions, and we try to answer questions there. So it's really difficult to cover it all. Maybe someday oh yeah, I think we have plans to do a technology type workshop in November, I believe, to help you with your personal outcomes at family gatherings. So I will leave that there for now. Another good discussion we got into was about the phones and how we can manage our phone calls. We've talked about voice isolation on iPhone, and I know the Android systems have something similar, but I cannot remember what they call it right now. What it does is it takes people's mics on their phone and it isolates to the voice only. So, like, if I put it on my phone, Julia would only hear my voice. If I get my husband to put it on his phone, and I did, I'm only going to hear his voice and none of the background noise. He can scrape a chair across the floor and they don't hear it. So, voice isolation, folks, get your voice isolation going to clean up our phone calls. Background is an issue on phone calls, and it affects our captioning too, because captions can't get it straight. Automatic speech recognition, and it interferes for hearing people. Julia was just saying, someone said, hey, you're going to have to get off the phone or get in a better place because all I hear is the wind on your phone. And this was a hearing person. So we're allowed to kind of say things like that to manage our phone calls as well. Back to you, Julia, for a minute.
Yeah, that is a good thought because on cell phones, I don't like to use, I don't like to, I talk to my sister a lot, but I don't like her to call me from her car phone. It drives me nuts. I can barely understand her. It's very difficult for me to hear her because she's got a noisy truck, right? So sometimes I have to say, call me back in a minute. Most of the times I know her enough that I know what we're talking about and it's okay. Um, if I'm walking the dogs, it's very noisy on our street, and I try not to make any phone calls because it's just too difficult, even with and I do actually. I was just thinking about the voice thing. I think it helps me too. I forgot it was on, and I'm wondering, oh, I wonder if that's why it's easier to hear her in this situation than when before I couldn't. Now I have to think about that some more. But here's an interesting thought: caption apps. Like your cell phone apps, CapTel, Caption Call. If it's getting it wrong, I mean, ASR, automatic speech recognition, isn't going to tell you the wind is blowing or, there's dogs barking or I don't think they're there yet. Um, but if the captions are coming out pretty funny, odds are the person may be in outside. They may be calling you from a car speaker system. They may be calling you on a conference call type situation and halfway across the office. So if captions are coming out pretty crazy, you might want to ask them, hey, are you outside or is there some static on the line? Because that may be the situation where you need to recall each other. If there's a poor connection, which still happens, I mean, people don't really understand that still really is a thing. You can be in a place. I live in a dead zone. I can be talking and realize I'm talking to dead air because a plane has gone over and for whatever reason interrupted my signal and I've dropped the call. Happens all the time still for me. Probably will till the day I die because I'm on the airport path. I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? Don't be afraid to say this connection isn't working for me. I'll call you back in a minute, is kind of what I'm saying. Even if the other person is saying, oh, I can hear you fine. Yeah, don't care. I cannot hear you.
It makes total sense. And I have asked people to get off speakerphones. I mean, I know other people can sometimes hear better through their speakerphone, but I cannot hear at all through a speakerphone. It's the background noise. It's um, too far away. They've wandered around the kitchen, something like that. In kitchens, bathrooms, bad acoustics. So that makes it hard. I am not afraid to say, this isn't working. Can we try something different? And I think we all need to do that. Where Julia was saying at the beginning, it's like we're afraid because we have hearing loss and we're already asking to be accommodated in so many ways. We're afraid to say, hey, one more thing. But no, we deserve full access too. We deserve clear understanding. Don't be afraid to say this phone call is not working for me, and even my captions are freaking crazy because you have too much background noise or bad acoustics.
That's a good thought. I like that. Give me some other thoughts. We got a couple minutes, but I know we didn't touch on phones in the blog and the workshop, so we wanted to cover it a little bit. Get to know what your venues have to offer. Here's an interesting thing going on here in Utah. Patrons that like to go to musical and plays but need open captions have recently discovered that it used to be okay. So we've been fighting for this, and if you've watched our Vicki Turner, you know all this. We fought for a long time to get an open caption performance. It took buying season tickets to really get people to start pushing to have that. But we are now, patrons are getting it the day they want the tickets. All they've got to do is say, can I, I'd like open captions, and they are giving it to the patron, whether it's 1 or 20 or a million or 2 or 6, whatever. So it takes a while to get to that point. But if you're a season ticket holder somewhere, talk to the venue about, and you want open captions or you want it streamed to your phone. There's so many different technologies out there that people can look into. We talked in our blog about a program that worked for a very small operation in Colorado. Terry, I can't remember Terry's last name, but who worked really diligently to get it in place. There's just so much that you guys can do if you just ask. And the funny part is sometimes all you got to do is say, can I, do you have an open caption performance? And you may find out they already have one and you don't even need to think twice. And with Wi-Fi, as we expand Wi-Fi and all of that, the ability to stream any performance any night of the week, all this technology. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to research and know how best it works for you, right? I'm not a fan of having my person next to me looking at their phone, but more and more that that is an option, and some people, that's enough for them. Some people prefer the open captions because you can go back and forth, and it's eye level, ability to have the captions eye level so you can catch what's going on, is more important than looking up and down and up and down. And that's kind of like open captions in movies, right? We can do concerts. You want to go to a Taylor Swift concert? It can be captioned. Just saying. Go ahead,
Yeah, and
Shelley.
I'll talk about a little bit about the movies now because there is a behind the scene things that happens with movie captioning too. You know, they have the caption devices. It can be either a cup holder that goes into the cup holder, and there's this bendy arm thing, and then a box that you watch, and it's right in front of you. But the thing is that you're looking at your captions, you look up at the movie, you look down at the captions, you look up at the movie. They also have caption glasses at Regal Theaters. And that blends it in a little more because you feel like you're watching it, but they can be pretty heavy on the nose, especially if you're already wearing glasses, which I do. But they're nice. It kind of blends there a little bit. The problem is they don't always maintain the devices. If you like these devices and want to use them, you have to keep going back and you have to train them to maintain it. Oh, I know for a while, way back when, there was this one theater I constantly went to, and they probably saw me coming and went, "Oh no, make sure she has a a working device," because I let them know. Open captions take some doing on theaters. More and more across America are doing this. Closed captions is in a device or in a box. Open captions are displayed across the screen. I don't think they have background. I think the movies do it yellow so that it doesn't blend in with the background, but I'll get back to you on that one. Open caption movies are OC, and that's what you have to look for, not CC. CC is closed captions, is every movie because they have the devices. OC means it's on the screen. So, but you have to work behind the scenes to make that happen too. You have to talk to the theater manager. Any up to date theater has the ability to put the captions on the screen.
That's a good one. And they might come back and resist and say, well, patrons won't like that. You'd be surprised how many actually, whether they're hearing or hearing loss, actually prefer that open caption movie. Maybe the sound is too loud, like the background noises that happen in movie that they like to make, you know, really loud, and you can't understand the people because of the sounds going on. Um, yeah, that's a great one, and that's again where we have had really good success with theaters allowing us open captions, letting us know what time they're going to be, doing it for all movies. Uh, it's awesome, and sometimes it's just asking them, and they may not know at first, but if you keep asking, I bet they can help figure it out. There are some movements with that going on, um, and success. So yeah, that's awesome to know how that works. And yeah, you do have to train them. Unfortunately, theaters are one of those things where the turnover is high, right? The new people all the time. So keep working with them and tell them how much you appreciate it. And it's amazing how much more. There was something I had and I can't remember, so I'm not going to worry about it. Any other thoughts, Shelley? Okay. Well, we hope you join us Tuesday, October 3rd. Let me double check. Yep, it is October 3rd.
I
Uh,
mess up dates all the time.
I do too. That's why I had to double check, right? Uh, for our next workshop series, Hearing Loss and Limitations. Join us live with others from around the US. Sometimes we even have them from other countries. Uh, we have always a human live captioner for those events to help us better understand each other. It's always free. Join our newsletter and you can get more information there every month. Um, we look forward to seeing you. Bye.
Bye.